Pack your things and leave. Bianca is carrying my child now." Those were the words Ekenna said to the woman who had stood beside him when he had nothing. Rachel had sacrificed her career, her money, her dreams, and 5 years of her life to help her husband succeed. But the moment another woman claimed to be pregnant with his child, Ekenna forgot every sacrifice Rachel had ever made. He brought his mistress into their home. He gave her Rachel's bedroom. He defended her against his own wife. And when Rachel finally walked away, he told her she would come crawling back within a month. But Ekenna had no idea that leaving him would become the beginning of Rachel's greatest chapter. Because the woman he threw away was about to rebuild her life, while the man he chose was about to discover that his entire marriage had been destroyed by a lie. Please subscribe. Rachel had spent 3 years trying to have a child. Every doctor's appointment had ended the same way. Tests, blood work, scans, questions, and disappointment. But on that particular morning, the doctor finally smiled. "Rachel, there is nothing wrong with you. Your body is healthy. There is no medical reason preventing you from becoming pregnant." Rachel almost cried from relief. For years, she had secretly wondered whether she was the problem. But now she knew the truth. She was healthy. The doctor then asked the question Rachel had been avoiding. "Has your husband ever been tested?" Rachel lowered her eyes. "Ekenna is always busy. He doesn't have time for hospitals." The doctor sighed. "Rachel, 3 years is a long time. Sometimes it takes 2 people to find the answer." Rachel promised she would bring him next time. She left the hospital that morning with hope in her heart. For the first time in years, she believed maybe her marriage could finally have the family they had dreamed about. But when Rachel returned home, she discovered something that would destroy that hope in a second. She opened the bedroom door and froze. A heavily pregnant woman was sitting on her bed. On her matrimonial bed. The woman looked directly at Rachel. "I'm Bianca," she said calmly. Rachel couldn't breathe. "Who are you?" Bianca placed one hand over her stomach. "I am the mother of your husband's child." Rachel stared at her in disbelief. Then Ekenna walked into the room. His expression told Rachel everything. "Ekenna." She waited for him to deny it. To tell her Bianca was lying. To tell her this was some horrible misunderstanding. Instead, Ekenna sighed. "I'm tired of living 2 lives." Rachel's heart shattered. "How long?" "Rachel. How long have you been cheating on me?" Ekenna looked away. Bianca answered for him. "Long enough." Then came the sentence Rachel would never forget. "Bianca is carrying my child. Something you could never give me." Rachel's eyes filled with tears. "I just came from the doctor. She told me I'm healthy." Ekenna barely reacted. "That doesn't change anything." Then he made the cruelest decision of his life. "Bianca is staying here." Rachel stared at him. "In our home?" "Yes." "And what am I supposed to do?" "You have 2 choices. Accept Bianca as part of this family, or pack your things." Rachel couldn't believe what she was hearing. 5 years. 5 years of marriage. 5 years of sacrifice. And suddenly she was being treated like a stranger in her own home. Rachel remembered the beginning. Before the money. Before the house. Before Ekenna became successful. There had been a time when Ekenna couldn't even afford transportation to job interviews. He had been rejected again and again. His own mother had warned Rachel, "Don't waste your youth carrying a grown man." But Rachel refused to listen. She worked. She paid their rent. She bought food. She gave Ekenna transportation money. She even helped him when he faced a serious debt problem. When he finally got his breakthrough job, Rachel was the first person he called. "I got it." She had cried with happiness. He promised her that he would never forget what she had done. But years later, that promise meant nothing. Now Bianca controlled the house. She cooked for Ekenna. She walked around as if she owned the place. She ordered Rachel out of the kitchen. And Ekenna always defended her. One morning, Rachel was preparing breakfast when Bianca entered. "I need the kitchen." Rachel calmly replied, "There is enough space for both of us."
Bianca frowned.
My baby comes first. Ekenna walked in. What is happening? Bianca immediately complained. Rachel explained. But Ekenna didn't even listen. Next time Bianca needs the kitchen, leave. Rachel stared at him. So I can't even cook in my own house? Bianca is carrying my child. Her needs are more important. That sentence broke something inside Rachel. But the humiliation became even worse. One evening, Rachel returned home and discovered that her keys no longer worked. The locks had been changed. Bianca opened the door. Rachel stared at her. Why did you change the locks?
Bianca smiled.
Because I felt like it. This is my home.
Bianca leaned closer.
You need to get used to the fact that things have changed. Then Ekenna appeared. Rachel expected him to defend her. Instead, he said, I knew about the locks. Rachel looked at him in disbelief. And you allowed it?
Yes.
That night, Rachel sat alone in the guest room. She looked around at the life she had built. The home she had helped pay for. The man she had supported. The marriage she had protected. And she finally asked herself, when did I disappear inside someone else's life? Then Bianca went too far. One night, Bianca suddenly fell to the floor. She screamed, My baby. Ekenna rushed toward her. She pushed me. Rachel froze. I didn't touch her. But Ekenna believed Bianca. He accused Rachel of jealousy. You could have hurt my child. Rachel begged him to listen. But he didn't. That was the moment Rachel realized there was nothing left to save. She packed her belongings. Ekenna watched her. You'll come crawling back within a month. Rachel looked at him through her tears. I hope Bianca gives you everything I gave you. Then she walked out. For the first time in 5 years.
Rachel chose herself.
Rachel had nowhere to go. She called her best friend, Chioma. When Chioma opened the door and saw Rachel standing there with a suitcase, she immediately understood. You're staying here. Rachel broke down. I don't want to be a burden. You're not a burden. Chioma listened to everything. The mistress. The pregnancy. The humiliation. The changed locks. The accusation. And then she said something Rachel desperately needed to hear. You did the right thing by leaving. Chioma even offered Rachel a job at her office. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't the career Rachel had once dreamed about. But it was a beginning. Rachel accepted. On her first day, she walked into the office nervous and determined. Then the elevator doors opened. A man stood inside. Rachel didn't know who he was. Annoyed and exhausted, she muttered something about him being rude for not waiting. The man looked at her. Excuse me. Rachel immediately realized what she had done. I'm sorry, sir. Later, she discovered the man's identity. Alexander Rash. The company's wealthy, powerful CEO. The man everyone called the Ice King. He had lost his wife in a tragic accident and had become emotionally distant ever since. And now Rachel was his new secretary. Her first weeks were difficult. Alexander was demanding. Her documents were never arranged correctly enough. Her coffee was never prepared exactly the way he wanted. Her tea was always too hot, too cold, or missing something. Rachel complained to Chioma.